Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the West Coast Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Frias Guzman. And on today's episode, I will be talking about the Raiders and the Lakers. I am actually recording this on early Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, November 29th, 2022. Just recording this early Tuesday morning. I'm sorry that I had quite a couple things come up over the weekend. I was on call with work. So I had a lot of things come up. Well, not really a lot of things or anything like that. Don't want to put that on work or anything like that. But also, had Thanksgiving and everything. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, by the way. Hope everybody had some time to eat plenty of food, be with plenty of family, or even if you were by yourself, that was by choice, or whatever happened. I hope you still had a great time with whoever you ended up spending it and whatever you ended up doing. But again, hope everybody had a good one. But if not, let's get right into it. All kinds of sports news when it comes down to it, especially when it comes down to the Lakers, especially when it comes down to the Raiders. I will first talk about the Raiders here in today's podcast, and I will talk everything about the game against the Seahawks. We'll talk about all the storylines and everything that came out of that, who ended up performing well. Of course, we'll talk about Josh Jacobs and his amazing performance, having over 300 scrimmage yards, being the league's rushing leader at this time. Just everything about him when it comes down to it. Again, I don't want to sound too biased when I talk about Josh Jacobs, just because this guy, I don't know what it is. Ever since he got drafted, ever since he first became a Raider, I was always advocating for this guy. I was always making sure that I stick up for this guy, because this guy is a solid dude. He's a solid football player, but not only just that, but he's an amazing person as well. If you haven't been able to hear any of his interviews, if you haven't been able to meet the guy, just even from him being able to take the time to talk to people like myself, him being a big name guy for the Raiders and everything, even when he got drafted, there was all kinds of expectations for this guy and everything, especially being a first round pick and everything. But this guy has shown that his the way he performs on the field and everything as well, has every which way of how he performs and how he approaches life. The guy is very humble. The guy is always willing to go and take some time out of his day, out of his life, in order to go ahead and help out others, or to go ahead and just take the time for others. Again, it's me being biased and everything, but the dude ended up taking time to have an interview with me to answer a couple of questions. So I'm obviously gonna go ahead and him being my first interview, definitely have like a special place in my heart when it comes down to it, and it is one of the things that I am gonna be addressing. I am hoping that the Raiders find some sort of way to sign this guy during the season. I know running backs, people don't like to sign them to long contracts or spend big money on them, and there's all kinds of reasons and so on and so forth. Teams prefer to draft them, keep them young, use them up as much as they can, and then not having to going to give them big contracts later on down the line. But with a guy like Josh Jacobs, kind of have to, I think, in my opinion, especially when he's performing better than guys like Dalvin Cook, like Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubbs, even Derrick Henry, who in my opinion, Derrick Henry is arguably one of the best running backs in the league right now, probably the best. But the way that Josh Jacobs has been performing, especially this season, you have to go and give it to my man. So anyways, guys, as kind of like I've already been doing, we're going to continue to talk about the Raiders game. What else can I say about Josh Jacobs? I am just hoping that this guy gets some sort of contract extension over the season. I think it'll be the best way in order to go ahead and show that the Raiders are really trying to do right by their players or something like that, But they didn't pick up his 5th-year contract, his 5th-year extension, or his 5th-year option. Maybe it's to go and work out some sort of a better deal or something like that. Who knows? Maybe they might even want to franchise tag him or something like that. That's a good paycheck either way. I believe it's like $10-12 million or something like that for the year. For a running back, that's definitely good. No, it's not top dollar for a running back or anything like that, but maybe because it is the Raiders, maybe because we have a special place in Josh Jacobs' heart, he might want to stick around. But if the dude wants to go in and go and chase after that bag, which I'm pretty damn well sure that there's going to be all kinds of teams lining up ready to go in and give him that bag, ready to go in and make him easily one of the highest paid running backs in the league. But we'll see what happens when it comes down to all that, guys. I mean, the dude's even working on his catching game. He's becoming a better receiver of the ball. He's, I don't know, the fact that the dude's working on stuff like that and becoming better, it just kind of shows you that the dude is really something special. And the dude has all kinds of similarities. People like to go and compare him to a lot of the players and everything, especially one of his mentors with Marcus Allen. I never really got to see Marcus Allen play, at least not live. It was always, replays or stuff on YouTube and stuff like that I seen. And overall, I mean, you see the similarities, especially in the way that they run and everything. But you definitely have to wait and see. Marcus Allen was a long timer when it came down to the Raiders and everything. We'll have to see if Josh Jacobs does stick it through. I would like it. I would really like to go and see number 28, or even if he does decide to change his number to 8, if he does that, I'd love to go and see him stick around. But we'll see what happens when it comes down to that. I do just want to speak about a couple other things about the game. You even see Derek Carr in that. Well, first we'll talk. Raiders ended up winning 40-34. If you guys didn't see the game, or if you guys haven't seen it or heard anything about it yet, definitely go check it out. Raiders win in overtime for the second straight week in a row, beating the Seahawks again 40-34. It was all on the backs really of Josh Jacobs. The defense at times as well showed up in big times. I mean, if you would see this game, or if you would just look at the score, you'd be like, oh damn, it was nothing but offense. But no, there was a lot of defense in this game. I mean, Derek Carr threw 2 interceptions. I believe Geno threw an interception. There was a fumble recovery. He got sacked all kinds of different times. You really got to see that both offenses really had to work, in order to get those points that they got. You got to see that the defense was really, really, active the entire game when it came down to it. You got to go and see that, the defense was really clicking on high levels for both sides of the field, for both the Seahawks and the Raiders. It really just came down to, I don't even know. I guess it was just perfect timing, or great timing when it came down to the defense, when it came down to the offense for both teams, really. I mean, the Seahawks, I mean, I damn well thought that they were gonna win it in overtime or something, but the defense definitely comes up big, especially with Max Crosby. Comes up with some timely sacks or pressures, even making sure that the Seahawks had no way of being able to go and get anything on that overtime drive. Even the same thing kind of happened as well in the fourth quarter a couple times. You even saw that Denzel Pearman got in there. I mean, dude was all over the field when it came down to tackles, but he also even came up with that big time interception as well. So the defense, you got to give them their props overall when props are due. They played an absolutely great game, especially when it came down to those key moments. They made sure to get key stops at times, and that's all you can really ask for, especially in the NFL with defenses and with offenses getting so talented. So I don't know. They're just so talented. I guess with that happening, you can only ask so much from your defense. If you can limit teams to so many points, then that's all you can do. But overall, at the end of the game, I mean, it's really simple. If your defense is able to hold up that team with having less points than what you're able to score, you win the game, obviously, right? But it is just a matter of just the defense holding back the offense. That's all it is. I mean, sometimes you can't even ask a defense to be like, oh, I want you to shut down this team. Like, no, that doesn't really happen a lot. I mean, I'm saying that, and the Raiders being one of the teams that actually got shut down, that actually had no points in the game against the Saints. And of course it happens and everything, this and that, but it's a little bit more difficult to ask now, I think, in my opinion. But anyways, we'll get off of that. Just to kind of highlight a couple other players, Fox Moreau, you got to see that the dude really stuck it in there. I mean, he had some really unfortunate drops in the game and everything, but you got to see even at the end, after Derek Carr throws him an absolute beauty of a ball, he ends up making that catch in order to win the game. And I mean, overall, you get to see that this team has certain players that have that Raider mentality, if you would. You have those guys that don't give up. You have those guys that have that motor, that just keep on going, that have that certain, chip on their shoulder, that have a certain thing about them, it's something about them, they fought through adversity, and when they find adversity again, it's whatever to them. they move on forward, and they keep on pursuing the goal that they want to get for, and as long as the guys keep on doing that, as long as they keep on just kind of staying focused on the goal and doing whatever it takes in order to get to that goal, eventually they'll get there. Sometimes, yeah, you're gonna run into some failures or some bumps in the road and this and that and blah blah blah. It happens, but overall, if you stick through it, you're gonna see that you're gonna get more positive results than negative results if you stay more focused on the work and just stay focused on the goal at hand each and every day. Even if it is during the week, you have practice and everything, this and that. I think it was one of the, I don't know if it was Derek Carr, I don't know if it was Josh McDaniels. I don't know. I think every sports fan hates this word. It's P word, the process. And I understand that you guys don't want to hear it because, yes, we're a playoff team the season before, and now it's looking like we're going to most likely miss the playoffs, or maybe barely squeeze in there again. And whatever the case is, when it comes down to that, you kind of understand that there is a process when it comes down to all this. You want to make sure that you get the right kind of players on the team. You want to make sure that you build off of that, not necessarily just expect to go ahead and become a contender. Yeah, we have some really bright pieces, and just imagine Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow being on the field. That offense is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. Like, teams are not going to know what they're going to do. Imagine we re-sign Josh Jacobs. Imagine, you have that three-headed monster when it comes down to Adams, Waller, and Renfrow. You get another wide receiver who can line up on the outside with Renfrow in the slot, and then you have Adams on one side, another dynamic. It doesn't even have to be dynamic, but just another solid wide receiver on the other end. Matt Collins has been doing a great job. I'm not going to go ahead and try to ignore him or anything like that, or neglect him or anything like that, but you definitely want to see. I don't know, I want to see it. I'm pretty sure a lot of Raider fans want to see it, and hopefully we can see it, at least a little glimpse of it this season, especially with Renfrow and Waller hopefully coming back from IR. But I guess we'll see what happens with that too. So guys, that's pretty much just gonna wrap it up when it comes down to the Raiders. I don't want to spend too much time, as there is quite a bit of stuff that I want to talk with the Lakers. But before I go and get into all that, I do just want to remind everybody a couple quick things. That you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter. You're gonna look for West Coast Pod 702. Again, West Coast Pod 702. And then also, you can go ahead and find my wife's Instagram page with Rosie's Designs EST 2022. Again, that's Rosie's Designs EST 2022. I'll make sure to go ahead and tag her on any kind of Instagram post that I do as well. But check her out. You can find any kind of she makes these customized chip bags, if you would. She keeps the original packaging and everything. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go and check it out. She makes these customized chip bags, keeps the original packaging and everything and all that. But she makes these. It's a design like with paper and everything. It's really nice. Design paper and everything. So it looks really, really great. She makes any kind of design, whether if it's like Happy Thanksgiving or Christmas or Happy Birthday, Feliz Quinceañera, whatever the case is. She'll make a design, whether if she wants to go ahead, whether if you guys want like a picture of some sort or a background or something like that, or certain type of design, anything like that. Definitely check out the page and you'll be surprised as to what she's able to make. I'll be honest with you, because there's times she prints out these things and I'm like, how? Like, are you magic or something? But with how great technology and photoshopping and everything and all that is nowadays, I guess it is very possible. But hey guys, definitely go check it out. Again, it's Rosie's Designs EST 2022. Send her a message, drop a follow. If you have any questions or anything like that, we'll be happy to go ahead and answer, or she will. But just to go in and get right into the Lakers here, guys. Lakers were underway over the weekend. They ended up having 2 games against the the San Antonio Spurs. Excuse me. So with the Spurs, they ended up playing 2 games, one on Friday, one on Saturday. Yes, it was back-to-back. Anthony Davis did sit out the second half of that back-to-back. LeBron was even asked the question if he was going to sit out in the second game of the back-to-back or something like that, or if he was going to sit out one of them. This was when he was just coming back from his injury, so I mean, his answer was pretty cool. He was talking about, like, he's like, "Hey, man, I'm just coming back. You know, I want to make sure to get loose and make sure to go ahead and get things going. You know, and get back into a rhythm of things." And speaking of him getting back into a rhythm, the dude dropped 39 points. Like that's pretty crazy. That's a pretty crazy rhythm, if you ask me, to drop 39 points. Come on now, but the dude shows that he can continue to go ahead and play exceptionally well, even at year 20. Even in last night's game against the Pacers, he had some really great moments, from starting off, from shooting, making the first 7 points for the Lakers, to continuing that shooting that he has. I mean, it shows that he has all kinds of different elements to his game at this point. He can affect the game in so many different ways. I mean, it's really, I don't know. It's one of the things you have to go ahead and just watch, because I mean, I don't know how many more years we're gonna have LeBron James to be playing, at this type of a level. So it is one of the things that I do encourage everybody. I know maybe you're not a Laker fan, maybe you're not a LeBron fan, but if you're a basketball fan, you got to check out some of these games for LeBron. That's just my opinion, but overall, LeBron's been playing exceptionally well. You can't really ask much more from the guy. You got to see that in his post-game conference that he had after tonight's game against the Pacers. I'll talk about that actually here in a little bit, but just wanted to kind of wrap up the Spurs games that they had. Both games they ended up winning. Actually, kind of all 3 games. They played them 3 times in a week. Once at home, twice in San Antonio. Won all 3 games. He had all kinds of different type of performances. He had Lonnie Walker, who showed up pretty well in 2 of the games. Just kind of staying consistent when it comes down to it. You also have Austin Reeves, who's just been doing his thing. The dude's, I want to say, top 3 in free throw percentage. So if he's getting to the line, you definitely like to go and see that happening. You get to see that he's attacking the basket more. You're seeing that he's not afraid of going down low as well. He has all kinds of different moves, up fakes and everything as well, that he can get players off of the ground. He's a very smart basketball player when it comes down to it. So you definitely like to go and see that type of a player on a team like this, especially with like LeBron James, with Anthony Davis, Russ, with guys that have such a high IQ for the game. You definitely like to go and see players like that being on teams like this. You also have Troy Brown. You have Lonnie Walker. Had great games during those games against San Antonio. Overall, it was just really great things. You even got to see the Lakers scoring their season high. 143 or something like that. So definitely got to see the great offensive side of the Lakers on that game. What can I say really about Anthony Davis during those games? The dude's been an absolute monster. He's continued to just kind of go on from those amazing games that he's had when it came down to those 30 plus, 35 plus, 15 plus rebound games. You get to see that the dude is really, I don't even know. I mean, if he's healthy and he is, I don't know, he's just terrorizing the league right now. The dude is still staying consistent. I mean, he's not dropping 30 and 15 every single game right now or anything like that, but he's still staying around that 25 plus, 10 plus rebounds. The dude is finding all kinds of different ways. I mean, I think he's leading the league in contested rebounds right now. So I mean, overall, AD, if he just continues this up, I'm really seeing that he can compete for an MVP or a Defensive Player of the Year award easily. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully he just continues to stay healthy throughout the season. Now, there's not much else really that I can talk about with the Spurs. The only other thing I wanted to mention, if you guys didn't see it yet, definitely go check out YouTube. Russ, during that game against the Spurs, gets hit really hard by an elbow. I think it was by John Collins. And you got to see his reaction. The only thing I really wanted to mention with that is, if you guys didn't see it, check it out, because LeBron really catered. I really came to Russ's help there. He wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to do anything stupid, first of all, by hitting Collins or anything like that. He wrapped him up and got him away from the situation right away. But then at that point, it wasn't anything about him just trying to get him away or anything like that. he cared about him. You know, he saw that his boy was bleeding, and he wanted to make sure that he was okay. You know, you got to see that there was really a kind of a sense of, nah, you my brother, bro. You're not my teammate right now. You're my brother. I want to make sure you're good. You know, kind of a deal. And you really appreciate that. You really like to go in and see that from a team like this. You know, you see that they have a certain sense of like chemistry already. You know, or at least a certain sense of, hey, I give a damn about you, kind of. You know, like I care about you. I have, you know, kind of a deal. You know, you see that this team has care for one another, if you would. But we'll kind of wrap things up when it comes down to that, to the Spurs and everything on the weekend. I really want to talk about last night's game, guys. 116 to 115. Lakers unfortunately lost it on a buzzer beater. I can't believe that both halves ended this way. First half ended with Schroeder getting a buzzer beater right before the end of the half, and then the Pacers ended up losing or winning with that buzzer beater right at the end of the game. What can I say, guys? I don't know how much I forget how much exactly the point lead was, but I want to say it was at least like 10 or 12 points that we were ahead by. I don't know what the hell happened. That defensive, you hear Lonnie. I mean, if you haven't heard, again, definitely go check out some of these interviews. What I think I'm going to start doing is actually recording some of the interviews, like from YouTube, so that way you guys can at least have the reference, I guess, so to say, or at least the context as to what I'm referring to. But definitely go check out all these, check out Lakers YouTube. You can find all these interviews with Lonnie Walker, LeBron, Darvin Ham, and as well Anthony Davis. These will be the ones that I'm referring to. You're going to hear from Lonnie Walker that he talks about that he wasn't marking, you know, his players or anything like that. He wasn't picking up a player whenever especially when they were working on the fast break. It's really going to be just of a thing of, he even talks about it as well. I think it's kind of all throughout the board. Even Anthony Davis, even LeBron, even Darvin Ham, they all talk about it. It's going to have to be a film session kind of a thing. They're going to have to see what went wrong in film and then work on it from there. You know, but you know, just seeing the way the game went or how it ended, you got to go in and see that the team was playing very, very well throughout the entire game. I mean, even at one point, the Lakers were holding the Pacers under 90 points with, I want to say it was still like 7 or 6 minutes left. And that's pretty damn good. That means that you're well underway, not only to go in and win the game, hopefully, if you have enough points, but you're also hoping that you can keep this team possibly under 105, 110 points, which in today's NBA, that's recipe for success right there. Because a lot of teams nowadays are averaging at least 105 points per game, and once you're able to kind of keep another team at least around there, maybe even lower than that, you're giving yourself a pretty good chance to win. Now, last night's game, it really, I don't know, the offense for the Pacers really just caught fire, but you get to hear it all over through all of the interviews. You know, LeBron, AD, and Lonnie Walker, they all talk about it was really just a thing that they needed to pick up things on defense at that point. Maybe get in some fresh legs or something like that at that point, I think would have been a good idea as well. You know, maybe these guys were just kind of getting tired and kind of thinking, hey, we got this. But even the offense for the Lakers really went like just cold. They had no idea where they were going to get their offense from. They really weren't trying to be aggressive at that point. They were kind of settling for jump shots more at that point. You really only had, as far as I can remember, Russ that was driving in, but he still settled for a jump shot even at that point. And of course, you don't want to go ahead. I mean, it is what it is. You shoot whatever is available, I guess, so to say. And if that shot was open, that shot was open. You know, but you see all the differences when it comes down to it. You saw the difference in how they were playing in defense. You got to see the difference in how they were playing on offense, and that just ultimately led to that fourth quarter demise, you know. And you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Hopefully they can learn from it. You got to go in and hear it again all across the board, that they all going to work on defense and that they're all going to work in the film room, making sure that they figure out what went wrong and how they can go in and correct it for the next game. Now we'll talk all about that game and everything as well. Their next game coming up, I want to say it's on Wednesday, but Sorry, tomorrow. Well, I guess it's tomorrow. I think they have the day off today, so it would be for tomorrow. We'll go in and talk all about that as well. Maybe do like a little bit of a preview or something like that. Or if anything, if it is on Wednesday, we'll maybe talk on Thursday and do like a little bit of a post game kind of a thing. But if you guys have any opinions on that, let me know what you want. Well, let me know what you want to hear, or let me know what you would want on the podcast as well. If you have any questions or anything like that. But that's gonna pretty much just wrap it up again, guys. Lakers unfortunately lost 116 to 115. But hopefully they come up, they kind of turn things around as they have been in the way. Before that game, they were 5-6, 5 out of the last 6 games. So you got to go in and see a lot of things, a lot of positive things happening from there. Along with all the little side stories and everything that the Lakers had with the Pacers, with all the trades and everything that were rumored and even talked about over the off season. You still are going to continue to hear all that. My opinion, I still want Miles Turner. I would really, really want Miles Turner on this team. I don't know, with Buddy Hield, I can take him or leave him. In my opinion, I would like him just because he brings on that extra level of shooting. But in my opinion, Miles Turner is the guy to go for, because if the Lakers can find a way to package him up with, say, I don't know, Pat Bev and Kendrick Nunn. If you guys get those 2 players, package them up, and that turns into Miles Turner or something like that, I say do it 110%. I really would like to go in and see what this twin tower kind of a thing with him and Anthony Davis would be like. But again, we'll see what happens. That is just gonna kind of wrap up everything for me. Hopefully we get some kind of a news on a trade or something somewhere down the line, because I do believe that the Lakers can be maybe a trade or 2, or maybe a player or 2 away from really being able to contend, hopefully. But we'll see what happens, guys, depending on what that player would be, or who that player would be, or what kind of a player they'll be able to bring in. But we'll see what happens. Again, I'll talk to you guys, if not tomorrow, I'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Hope you guys have been enjoying your week so far. But I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.